Well, let's talk more politics, shall we? The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Rivers State, Senator Magnus has announced his withdrawal of his legal challenge to the governorship election in the state. Senator Abe made this known while addressing party faithful at the SDP state head office in Port Harcourt, the state capital, just a few days ago. And he says his action is born out of his love for the state and his interest in moving forward together and avoiding confusion and bickering. So let's hear directly from him, because that decision may have shocked a lot of people. For some, they probably saw it coming. Senator Magnus Abe joins us live from our Abuja studio. And, well, Senator, a lot of people listened to you. Some read that statement and they were thinking, wait a minute, what's going on here? We thought that there was still a lot more to this election. Don't forget the protests we saw by the PDP, or rather the APC in Rivers, and the counter-protest by the PDP. So a lot of people were expecting intrigues, especially from you as well. So is this you positioning for something? What exactly prompted you to do this?
Well, thank you very much. I think that one needs to be realistic in politics. You're not a stranger to the politics of Rivers State. As you would recollect, we have been in this game for quite some time. And right from when we were in the APC, we actually have been engaged in, would I call it, internal battles over the way things are being done in Rivers State. You know, at the time we left the APC to go to the SDP and contest for the governorship of Rivers State, you will recollect that the president-elect now was in the APC. The Rivers State governor, Nyesom Wike, was in PDP. And we went to the SDP to contest for the governorship of Rivers State against Governor Wike and his party. Now, in the course of that battle, the dynamics of the politics have changed. Wike and the G5 now have an alliance with the APC at the national level. And that alliance, of course, affects the dynamics of what is happening in the state. Now, we looked at it that if we continue our battle in the court at this point, we will end up being in direct confrontation with the president-elect, who has clearly, by his body language and by the alliance between the APC and the G5, taking a clear position as far as the issue is concerned. And so a lot of the support, a lot of the goodwill that we enjoyed in the course of this battle, right from the APC into the SDP, has been eroded by that alliance. So if we continue the battle at this stage, we will be continuing on our own, and we will not be able to get any institutional support. We saw the impact of this in the just concluded election. The SDP and our supporters in Rivers State, we actually went through a lot. People were traumatized. As we speak, people are still being arrested. People were imprisoned. A lot of our followers were imprisoned. People suffered so much. And this struggle has been sustained by Rivers people making little contributions, putting their hard-earned resources together to fight against people who are engaging in this battle with the support of public institutions and with an unending war chest. So at this point, we are forced to question ourselves clearly as to what we can achieve if we continue to propel this fight forward at this time. Are we still going to tell these market women, these traders, all these people who are bringing out their hard-earned and meager resources to support us, that they should continue to bring money? We are going to win. We will win Wike. We will win Tinubu. We will win APC. We will win everybody on our own. Will we be telling them the truth? So we looked at all these things and took all that into consideration. Again, Nigerians know that we had You will recollect that over time, we had invested so much of our political capital in the belief that Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu will be the next president of Nigeria, and that his presidency will bring a lot of change economically and politically to this nation. And so if we now, at this stage, remain in court, battling a position that he has taken, and continue that battle for the next 10 months up to the Supreme Court, are we being practical in our assessment of the politics of the nation and the state at this time? Or are we just fighting just for the purpose of being seen as people who fight? So for us and our leadership, politics is a practical thing, and we need to take decisions that respond to the true situation of the time. If the music has changed, the drum beat has changed, the circumstances has changed, you have to take a second look at your plan. And that is what we have done, and therefore we have taken the decision that in the interest of the state, in the interest of our own followers who have sacrificed and suffered so much, we will not continue a fight that we are not convinced at this time that we can prevail, given the changing dynamics of the political situation. So out of deference to all those points, and to also be able to get help. As we speak now, there are a lot of our supporters whose properties have been confiscated, and they have been arrested. They are being stressed out in so many ways. We feel that if we withdraw from this petition, from this situation, and then cash in or promote the relationships that we have always had with the federal structure, we can be able to bring them help and bring all the suffering of our supporters to a close and re-strategize. So in terms of practical politics, we think that we have taken the right decision.
Right. I mean, you had 46,000 plus people voting for you in that election, and I imagine you're speaking to them this evening.
That is not correct, and that is why we actually went to court. We had a lot of support in Rivers State, and that's why we went to court to try to prove that. But as I said, at this point, if we continue the struggle, it seems to me and to a lot of us that the struggle will be merely academic in terms of political
if you think you had
and aiming to.
If you think you had more than that figure, which of course was counted for you by the official result, why not then stick to getting justice up till the end? Wouldn't this be you then allowing injustice, which you think was done to you, to just happen?
I agree that is the sentiment of a lot of our people, but justice in Nigeria is relative. We started this fight from the All Progressives Congress. You know that we went up to the Supreme Court 3 times. And despite our victories at the Supreme Court at that time, because the party didn't agree with us, we couldn't make any headway. And people stood by us all through that. You know? Now, if you look at the results, for example, from Onelga, one of the largest local governments in Rivers State, where even our director of campaign came from, there was no figure entered for the SDP. You know? So what are you saying? Are you saying that even our director of campaign did not vote for us? But you saw the crowds when we went to Onelga. So there was a lot of what went on that ordinarily we would not have accepted. And we don't really accept. But the reality of the situation is that proving these facts in a court of law would require experts, would require senior advocates. It would take us over 10 months to go through all that, and it will be resisted by the people who claim that they won. So at the end of all that struggle, are we sure of what will be the outcome of that effort? And do we have the resources to prosecute that battle all the way up there?
I know that resources...
It's not a practical thing for us at this time.
I know that resources is key to politics, from even before the primaries to the proper campaigns. Resources is a big deal, as it is in other climes. But how much does it cost on average to pursue a tribunal case, for example? So maybe people can get a sense of the issues you had on your table that made you to take this decision.
No, it's not all about the resources. Like I told you, it's a combination of factors. First of all, you know that what it will cost to successfully prosecute a governorship election petition against the government of Rivers State is not something I want to discuss on national television. But just for purposes of emphasis, that is not why we pulled out. Like I said to you, when we started this fight, we were ready to take on the Rivers State government and the PDP. Now the PDP and the Rivers State government is in an alliance with our own mentor, our father. And that alliance with the G5 now affects the dynamics of what happens in Rivers State. If the president-elect has clearly shown that this is where he stands on this matter, and then we now proceed, are we ready to take on both Wike, take on Tinubu, take on the APC, take on everybody on the course of this struggle, and we are confident that we're going to win? You know, if we have that confidence that we can defeat all of them, then we can talk to our people, sell your house, sell your market, anything you have, bring. We will go and take these people on. But if we don't believe it, and we continue to encourage them to move on, that we didn't start by saying we're going to go against Asiwaju, who we were with. Now the situation has changed. The dance steps has changed. And we have to make a practical assessment of our situation. So it's not just about the resources. If it's the resources, our people have supported us so much. If you know the number of Rivers people who contributed to our campaign, flew in from all across the world to support us, you will understand that this is not something that any one person could have done. Now, will the interest of those people be protected by what would be entirely an academic pursuit at this time? We don't think so. So in order to safeguard the interest of all these people that have suffered so much, it is our responsibility as the leader of this whole endeavor to look at it realistically and make a call that serves the interest, the long-term interest of our supporters, of our people, and of our state.
Let's wind down on this with this.
To go against the system at this point.
All right. Although I'm still surprised that, I mean, in the spirit of transparency, why you do not want to mention how much it will take on an average to prosecute tribunal cases.
Let me say something. If you're going to hire 3 or 4 senior advocates, how much would that cost you? If you're bringing expert witnesses, how much would that cost you? If you're bringing witnesses from across 23 local governments in Rivers State to Abuja, housing them and all that for them to testify, provide for them, how much would that cost you? But that's not the point. Like I said, our people have shown
It's okay, Senator. I was thinking you'd say at least $1 billion or more, but I'd like you to speak to this because we've talked about the music changing. By the way, is it $1 billion or more?
You are a Nigerian. You know
well, I'm not a politician. I've not pursued tribunal cases before, so you know about it better.
I have.
So did it cost you $1 billion then?
I have
or
pursued
more?
it. You see, at the time we were doing that, I was a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I was in the APC. We had the support of the then Minister of Transport and therefore the support of the federal government. There were a lot of variables that came into the contest at that time. We had institutional support from some of the federal institutions and all that. All those are things you cannot quantify in terms of money. Now, if we decide to go ahead on our own, we are not going to get any of that support.
Senator, we're totally out of time.
We have to pay for everything.
But as the elephant in the room, which I need you to respond to, we have just less than 30 seconds. Are you open, because you talked about the dance, the music changing, are you now open to a position in the cabinet of the president-elect?
Well, it's not a question, I'm a Nigerian, it's not a question of being open to a position in the cabinet of a president-elect. Everybody knows that I'm part of the Asiwaju family, and I've always been. And I will remain so whether I have a position or
Senator,
not.
you are in the SDP.
What is important is
Asiwaju is in APC.
Yes.
Or does he also have extended families in the SDP?
Is Wike not in the PDP? Are they not in alliance? Didn't he work for these things? So it's not a party thing at this point in the country. Everybody who has I said it from the beginning, that the question of who becomes the next president of Nigeria is beyond politics. And it should in the elections. People from different parties supported people that they thought would do a better job. And so we had always been with Asiwaju, and that's where we are. So
and I think that's a fine place.
It is beyond the party politics.
And I think that's a fine place to leave it. It's good to see you again, Senator Abe. Would like to thank you so much for your time. We've been speaking with Senator Magnus Abe, who is or was the governorship candidate of the SDP in the Rivers governorship election. Thank you once more.